Well, that was the first ride, and the clutch is slipping. Kind of figured there had to be something wrong with this bike. Not a major job to do, but will definitely eat into my budget. But rear brakes work, although I still have to change the pads. Front brakes work. Yeah. All right, well, that's it right now. Guess I'll go in to lick my wounds. Another nice day. This is it, I think, though. Maybe this is the last of the good days. So today, I want to take this part of the fairing off so I can get to this clutch cover. I don't think I'm going to take that off. Maybe see what's going on in there. We'll see how much time I have, but I'm going to start by taking all these screws off the side and see how easily this comes off. So I moved the right lower fairing off. Got a couple of broken pieces on there. Maybe I can try to fix those up a little. Remove the little bottom belly pan part there. And that exposes my clutch cover. So it's just a matter of taking all those bolts out, beating it with a hammer, and hopefully it pops off. I do know that they say if it's on the side stand, you won't lose oil. I'm still going to put a pan under it. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Got all the bolts out of the cover. There's 3 different lengths. Very easy to distinguish what goes where. The 2 long ones go on the top here. The next 4 are the medium, and all the rest are the small ones. So now, let's try to beat this cover off. Okay, I have some good news. I think 95% of the gasket came off on the cover. And that's really good news. The next thing is to take these springs off. It almost looks like there may have been a wrench in here before. Okay, this chain, I can't remember if that's the alternator or the starter chain. But anyway, we got enough clearance. We can take this cover off. And when we do, I think we have to take this clip off. Maybe not. Then we should know if our star spring is broken or if it's going to need clutch plates. It is cold. It is windy. Got to get this done, right? So I got my new clutches. They're soaking in oil. Also, looking this up, it said that premature clutch wear can happen from a blocked return orifice in here. So I used a shaved down paper clip to poke in through the hole, make sure everything was good. There was a little dirt in there, but I think it was okay. You know, of course, the hose could collapse. We could have a sticky hydraulic cylinder, but we're going to find out once we get this together if this is any good or not. So from last time I took it apart, I just have a couple of screws holding the cover on. I'll get that off and start putting the new clutches on. Before I can put the what did I do with the bolts? Oh, I gotta find my clutch springs. They're not, oh, I think they're still in there. I gotta put some Loctite on the screws for those. And yeah, I should have this together fairly quickly. I want to paint this. I have some paint left over from one of the other bikes. I'll have to scuff that up. It's just not really the right temperature to do it. What are you going to do though, right? Maybe I'll do it. I'll put this in the house so it warms up, and then I'll paint it before it gets too cold, and then put it back in the house to dry. So yeah, I'd say the bulb was blown. That's kind of funny. So I had 3 of these little standoffs for the springs that came off with the caps and springs. So I loosened them up. I'm going to put some Loctite on them, put them in. Now this is 242 Loctite. Really I should be using 243. The difference is 242, the threads really can't be oily. 243 will work in a more oily condition. These are pretty dry and clean right now, so I think I'll be good with these. Then I'll Loctite these in and put the springs back in with the cover. All right, I've got 2 in. I'm going to continue with the other 4, tighten these down, and see how the clutch lever feels. All right, so I got all the bolts tight. Clutch lever feels good. That doesn't mean a lot because it felt good before. So I will have to check, make sure it's not holding any pressure down here. Also, my cover, it's actually satin black. It's shiny now because I just put another coat on it. But that's coming out okay. I think while I have it here, I'm going to dump the oil on it, because if it had an oil that wasn't made for motorcycles, that could have contaminated the old plates and caused them to slip. So even though I should do it with the engine warm, if I do that, it's going to get in the clutches, so I might as well just dump it now. I realize I should have this on the center stand doing this. I will stand the bike up. There's supposed to be 2 drain plugs on this, and then the oil filter is back here. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, I should have it on the center stand. It has oil in it. It's pretty thin. Maybe it's been gassed. Smells a little gassy. Should have about 3 quarts in it. But yeah, it's a little runny. So we'll let that go, unless it fills up the pan. We'll change the oil filter, and then we'll put some oil in it. I see oil leaking out of there. I'm gonna get it on my bungee cord. So it's holding my cover on. Alright, we'll let that drain for a while. Last thing I want to do is drop that in the pan and have oil come splashing back at me. Alright, so one thing I learned, even though you think all the oil is drained, if you stand the bike up, you will leak oil out of this side cover. Alright, so there's the old oil filter. This one came with the bike. It's a K&N. It's a nice filter. Got a gasket. And we'll swap that out, put that back in. I did find the other drain plug. It's right up front here. Okay, so I got the O-ring out. There's another O-ring on the stem here, which came in the kit. So we'll put this all back together and get it in the bike. It is starting to get windy, and I think it's going to rain soon, so I got to get this thing back together. Now, I don't know if the side cover is going to be dry, but oh well. And I'm about to dump the second drain plug here. I got my hair in the oil, believe it or not. I had the oil filter sitting up here, like you probably saw, and when I leaned over to do this, my hair went in the old oil filter. There's a bit in there. More than I thought. Still think it's pretty runny though. I'm gonna have to add some coolant to my reservoir. I'm guessing it's just the regular Prestone you can use. I got the side cover on, nicely painted. I put oil in it. I'm not going to tell you what kind because, you know, just get into that whole big oil argument. We'll make sure it starts up and that the oil light goes out. Now how much choke to give it? I guess we'll give it the beans. It's kind of cold. And we'll see what happens. Maybe a little too much choke. Oil lights out. I don't see any oil pouring on the ground. First ride. Have to say, so far she rides pretty smooth. I mean, I like what I feel. I do feel like the carbs need to be tuned up a little bit though. I don't know why, I feel like a little bit of a lag or a little bit of a hesitation. She is charging though, 13.8 volts right now. I mean, not terrible charging. Got to be honest too, where the feet position is like real tight.
You ever take it off any sweet jumps?
Well. Welcome back, everyone. It has been a month, if not more, since I've made a video. But here we are, back in the garage. So, got quite a few updates to give everybody. As you can see, we're on the other side of the garage now, because there's more room to work over here. I've got the bike. Basically, after the last time I rode it, that you guys saw, and the bike was riding great, I ended up bringing the bike back after it had, actually, I took it out a second time because I wanted to take it on a nice long ride. So I took it out for like a half hour. I took a huge circle around my town, and I the bike rode great, absolutely phenomenal. Everything works. I filled it up with gas, and brakes feel great. Bike runs great. Everything works on the dash and whatnot. But when I got it back, I noticed there was a huge oil puddle underneath it. And I was like, well, that's obviously not good. It's not good to have oil leaking from any vehicle that you have. So I decided to take some of the side panels off and everything, and found that the shaft cover here, I don't know if you can see that, but in the back got quite the leak. It looks like it might be coming from the shaft seal, as well as the bevel gear case seal. And the whole bottom side of the bike is all wet and loaded with oil. So as we remember from our last look at the whiteboard here, I had $141.60 left. I don't have my magic erase marker out here. I'll have to go grab it and update it. But basically, I bought a new bevel gear case seal or gasket for $10. And I think it was like $4 shipping. So I'll have to subtract $14 from that. So prices going up / going down for what I have left to spend. But at least it wasn't too expensive. But let me tell you, the process to take this apart absolutely sucks, because I'm going to have to end up disconnecting the rear control arm and the shock and the whole suspension underneath, and pulling the whole tire backwards and pulling the shaft out of the casing here, along with having to take the slave out. And little did I know that behind the shifter bracket here is the water pump. So I'm gonna have to drain all my coolant out too. I mean, I guess in one regard it's a good thing, because I'll be able to check the water pump to see how it is. Now, luckily, on the spare parts bike that I got when I bought this bike, there was an extra water pump, and there's no shaft play in that one. So that one seems like it's in good condition. If the one on this bike happens to be bad, I will say that for the trip that we're going to take, I'm going to bring the extra water pump, because it's relatively easy to replace. There's just a couple of brackets and screws of things in front of it, like the shift lever and whatever. So we could replace one on the fly if I run into that issue with anything with the water pump. But I'm hoping that checking out the water pump and knowing if it has shaft play or not will tell me whether or not I'll need it. But so on that note, that was kind of a downside. I am going to have to do a little bit more work to it before I start riding it. But on a good note, on a better note, I was able to make a DMV appointment, and I was able to get the bike registered and insured. So the bike is road legal now because of that. And basically, the second I get this fixed, and it's not leaking oil everywhere, I'll be able to start riding it. Another good thing is as you know, in some of the previous videos, I said I had bought an oil change for the bike. I never got a chance to do the oil change yet, because I didn't want to do the oil change until I made sure the bike was rideable and runnable and everything. So taking this bevel gear casing off and everything, I'm going to have to drain the oil So what a great time to be able to do the oil change. So the last two things that I have to do to the bike is the oil change and the rear drivetrain case fluid. Aside from this gasket, of course. Those are the last two things to do that were main priority things. But that'll be done when I go to do this casing. So I'm gonna start tearing it down. I'm not gonna put you through the hours of having to tear this thing apart and figure it out because I've never done it before. So I'll start up the video in increments as I start pulling things apart and show you where I'm at and go from there. All right, guys, so got the casing off, as you can see here. Got the casing off where it was leaking. This is the one from the parts bike. I used it as a template to put the bolts in so I knew which way they went back in. The reason I took the parts bike one apart was because I wanted to see how in depth it was. And to be honest with you, it was a good thing I did that because I was able to go through this within like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to get to this point. I gotta run to the store and grab some silicone probably tomorrow. And then I'll be able to, and I'm gonna grab a few cans of brake clean everything out, clean everything nice and sparkly. And then the gasket that I got is a paper gasket, so I'm gonna tack that up with some RTV before I put it on. I just have to be careful because there are a couple of oil passage ports on the gasket that are quite tiny. I'll see if we can see them here. So there's one here, and then there's another one over here. Just got to be careful around those areas. I don't want to pack on the silicone too much, the RTV too much, and have it clog one of those ports. I believe those ports are for oil, but so let me get the light. So yeah, I had to disconnect the drive shaft. That goes to the rear, disconnect the rear control arm kind of things. I wouldn't call it a control arm, they're like set pins. And yeah, I had to undo the water pump, which after I undid the water pump, I did check it. I brought it over here and put it in my toolbox so that nobody would mess with it. But here's the water pump here. As you can see, there's 0 shaft play. This thing's nice and tight, so I'll clean that up and slap some RTV on the seal, which is right here for it. Slap some RTV on the back side that runs inside the engine. That's got a seal from oil. I've got everything in my egg carton here kind of situated out and place where they need to be, and yeah, so I'll leave that in there. Those are all parts from the spare parts bike. And here's the pump from the spare parts bike as well. So I have a backup. But yeah, so I got that far. We're gonna have the big reveal where we reveal our bikes to each other. Again, I think he got something huge, probably. He's used to touring bikes and stuff like that, so if I had to guess, he probably got a Honda Goldwing or some big bike like that. That's because he's got a Harley touring bike, so he's used to big bikes, whereas me, I'm used to smaller bikes. But I guess we'll see when we get there. But yeah, and I can't wait to give this thing a nice clean and wash down and buff too.
lip. Fantastic. Something's stuck. So when I just took this bike for its second ride, when I came back, the brake was sticking, and I believe it's the rear. So maybe he thought it was the front, because I found nothing wrong with the front, and he had the new rebuild kits for the front but not for the back, and I believe it's the back. So we're going to loosen this bolt and this bolt. They're 8mm Allen heads, and we're going to remove the caliper and see if these slides are stuck and see if the piston moves. They are some stubby little screws that I'm guessing should have some Loctite on them. They're so short you wouldn't want them to fall out. So I had to take the master off here in order to pull this caliper back far enough off to get some slack in this line. The pads aren't so bad. What I was hoping was that these slides would be stuck, but of course they're not. So now I'm gonna compress the piston and see if that's stuck. So yes, it is very, very hard squeezing this, and the piston's really not moving. So what I will do is I will loosen the bleeder and squeeze it. If it goes in easy, then it's something between the line and the master. If it's still stuck, then it's in the caliper. Well, that just confirms that it's in the caliper, because I know this bleeder is not plugged. If I push the pedal down, it'll send fluid out here. All right, well, I polished that one up with the old 4/0 steel wool and some metal polish. This is the worst one. This one was close, but it wasn't as bad as this one. I have a feeling that some of this, like that's not coming out. But we'll give it a shot and see what it looks like. All right, so not perfect. Definitely better. We're always going for better. Yeah, that's still there, but not as bad. So for the rear brake caliper, I had my choice of a rebuild kit, which was $30. Or this. So I'm going to open this box up. Always cut towards your leg. This is a complete used setup, master, caliper, reservoir, off of a 2000, same year as the one I have. Guaranteed to work, he said. I'll put the pads in here because, well, you know this is sticking. We don't know if this or the line is good. So I'd hate to rebuild the one I have and find out I need a master and everything else. Plus, I didn't take the one apart, so I don't know if the, if the piston is pitted or anything like that. But I'll zip this one off and we'll put it on and bleed it and see how it goes. All right, I was able to squeeze this one in fairly easily. far as it'll go. It was missing little tabs here, but I have them on this one, little anti-rattle things. So I may just use that whole bracket anyway. But yeah, this one squeezes in where the other one didn't, so that's a good sign. All right, new pads are in the caliper. Pins are all greased. Now we're going to put it back on the bike. Okay, the caliper's on. I got the bleeder open. It's kind of gravity bleeding. It's pretty dirty, so I will bleed the whole system out and put new fresh .4 in it.
Writing in the margins of my mind all day, sipping herbal in the morning just to feel okay. Had a dream I was water just flowing through space, till I landed on the record that my grandma would play. Talk sweet like jazz in the park after rain. What the grass smell green and the air feels sane. Put the phone on mute, let the silence explain. I don't need much, just a book in the brain. Used to chase things that would run from me. Now I sit still, let the peace come free. Paint a verse in the sky with a loose leaf. While the moon do a dance with a soft oak tree. Let it ride, let it be what it be. Got a breeze in my chest and a thought run free. I don't rush, I don't race, I just float on 3. Got a vibe in my soul, got a life on key. Let it ride, let it breathe, let it roll like that. Got the world in my cup and the beat in the back. I don't stress, I don't fold, I just lean on facts. If the sun don't shine, I'ma still bounce back. I've been good, I've been gone, I've been lost in the loops. Got a hoodie and some headphones, walking with troops. Ain't no inches in the feed, just noise and flex. But I found God once in a vinyl set. Talk slow when I speak, let the moment stretch. Learn peace ain't found, it's a thing you protect. Yeah, I vibe like water, I change and shift. But the roots still deep like my grandma's grits. City move fast, but I drift like smoke. Let the rhythm in my chest be the way I cope. Wrote a song for the days that feel soft and broke. Where the healing don't shout, but it still got hope. Let it ride, let it be, let it be what it be. Got a breeze in my chest and a thought run free. I don't rush, I don't race, I just float on 3. Got a vibe in my soul, got a life on key. Let it ride, let it breathe, let it roll like that. Got the world in my cup and the beat in the back. I don't stress, I don't fold, I just lean on facts. If the sun don't shine, I'ma still bounce back. Let it ride, let it be, let it be what it be. Got a breeze in my chest and a thought run free. I don't rush, I don't race, I just float on 3. Got a vibe in my soul, got a life on key. Let it ride, let it breathe, let it roll like that. Got the world in my cup and the beat in the back. I don't stress, I don't fold, I just lean on facts. If the sun don't shine, I'ma still bounce back.
everybody, what's up? So, how did you enjoy my last video? Great, right? It cut off. It took me a couple hours to put everything back together, and I thought I was videotaping everything, and the battery died on the camera. So, you guys didn't get to see the rest of that, unfortunately. But, new day, new video, right? As we can see, I got everything for that bevel gear case and its gasket back together. Got the drive shaft back in, rear control arm, and all of its components back in. So as you can see here, I have a grease gun. I'm gonna be greasing all of the fittings underneath here for the suspension. I had some coolant out in my shed, so I'm gonna fill it up with coolant, fill it up with oil. After I do the oil change, I still have to change the filter and drain the front plug. And I'm gonna change the rear drivetrain fluid. And then after that, guess what? We should be done. Then I'll take it on another nice long ride. And hopefully everything goes well with that. So I'm registered, insured. I'm ready to start riding it. Obviously I can't ride it to work yet because I can't let John find out until we do our big reveal. But until then, I'll take it wherever I can. I do have 2 other jobs, so I'll drive into from my other 2 jobs. And I'll ride it around town and run errands and stuff like that. But all right, let's get back at it. Let's try and get this thing filled up with fluids back together. We'll get it outside. We'll start it up. Try and get the cooling system burped and get it up to temperature and go from there. Maybe we'll take it for a ride. Tell me there's other people out there that feel the same pain as me, right? Whenever you're looking for an 8mm, you can only find a 10. But whenever you're looking for a 10mm, you can only find an 8. Drives me absolutely nuts. Alright, so I'm just down here on the ground. There's a little bleeder at the bottom of one of these pipes. I just want to be sure I got coolant down here. Good. You probably couldn't hear that, but it was like, and then coolant started coming out, so there was definitely an air pocket in the water pump. Come back around to this side. If I'm not mistaken, there was a bleeder up top where the thermostat, yep. See if we can get this light stuck. I'll show you. If you can see up there, bad lighting. Right there is a bleeder. That's where the thermostat is. So we'll get in there. Let's see if we can get that sucker correct. There's already coolant coming out, so that's good.
Hello everybody. So update on this bike that I'm working on. I had it all together. I took it to go get a VIN verification, which I think I took it for about a good 10 miles or so. But the bike started smoking. And I mean, it was smoking kind of from the beginning, but I had to get there and back. So I went there and came back, and I thought, you know, maybe it's rings or something, because I couldn't really tell what color it is, being a little colorblind. I did know, though, that, you know, it was whitish, bluish. It definitely wasn't antifreeze, which thank God. I don't need a head gasket or anything going. So I got home, and I'm like, well, I pulled the plugs. Plug number 3 was wet. I'm like, all right, so it's unburned fuel. Ignition or carb, you know, I don't know which it was. So I tried to swap plugs, and the number 3 plug was still wet. I took the coil, because they're wasted spark. There's one coil. There's 2 coils for 4 cylinders. Each coil fires twice, once on intake, once on exhaust. So I switched the wires from 2 to 3, and it ran the same. And I checked, and the plug was wet again. So, all right, it's not ignition. So, here we are again. You know, there's always a job that's your worst job on a bike. Normally it's tires for me, but on this one it's carbs. So this guy, for some reason, is dumping fuel. I wanted to check the float level using the, you know, the tube method under here, but I thought there was going to be 1/4 inch tubing, and it's not. It's smaller. And I don't think I have anything smaller. I got to check. Yeah, because I want to check the float height on all of them to see if this one's like wickedly high or something, or why this one is giving so much more fuel than the other 3. All right, let me look for some fuel line, and I'll get back to you and start checking this out. So with these carbs level, you want it, you know, kind of right up to where the bowl meets the body of the carburetor. So that's pretty even right there. And I'm going to fill this up. I'm going to loosen the drain screw and see where this comes up to. So carb 1 is a little high. So 2 and 4 were perfect. 3 was low, 4 is a little high. Why is this one sucking fuel so bad? Drawing it into the cylinder on a low float level. All right, time to take the bowls off. Okay, I think I found out the problem with carburetor 3. And the problem is I'm a fucking moron. As I was looking at this carburetor, looking at the pilot jet, then I looked at this one, and there was no pilot jet.
What an idiot! Oh, what a loser!
Guess what I found down in the basement where I rebuilt them? All right, I know, let me have it. I mean...
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
I make mistakes. I'm not going to say I don't. And this was a stupid mistake, but one that's easily correctable. I hope that's all the problem with it is. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put that back in and recheck the float, because I did adjust this one. I didn't really touch that one. I might just try to move it a smidge. All right. At least I feel a little bit better that I know there was an issue. Got them all adjusted. That one's right about normal. That one's about normal. Those 2 I'm not going to mess with. What a pain in the butt doing it this way, but I guess that's the more accurate way, right? So, I guess there's only one thing left to do, and that's put these on the bike. But that will be, for me, that'll be tomorrow. I'm beat. I stink of gas, and I'm hungry. So, I'll be back. It is a beautiful day out, and I'm going to try to get these carburetors in. Put some oil down that plug hole, saying as it hasn't had any in a while. Put the coil back in. Maybe I'll drain the rear end fluid and change that. The bags, put them on. I've never actually even opened those bags. Maybe I'll check to see if there's any air pressure in here too. It's probably going to smoke because I did put some oil down in the cylinder. Smoking was its problem before. I cranked it over a little bit, you know, before I put the tank on. Let's see what happens. Choke on, key on, it's in neutral. Guess I'll have to apologize to the neighbor for that. I don't see any carburetors leaking. Still on choke. So hopefully that smoke goes away. Hopefully the smoke issue, I think, is gone. That'll be fantastic. Still got to do something with this windshield. I don't know what that is yet. Bike's running good though. Ooh. Looks like it's going to be a stormy day, maybe. I got the kickstand up on a block of wood, so the bike's pretty level. I want to do the rear end fluid today. I pulled the fill plug out, and I got to pull the drain plug out. I bought this Hypoid gear oil, $75.90, and one of those nice flex fill things, which makes it nice and easy. So let's get this drained. It shouldn't take that long, and we'll fill it up. It's windy out here. It looks like it's gonna storm. Okay, good news. It had some in there. Looks pretty clean too. Well, it's not a magnetic drain plug, that's for sure. So this may take a while. And then I have to check the oil because it may be contaminated with fuel, since I had that issue with the carburetor. All right, we'll let this drain out. Just gonna squeeze fluid in here until it starts to run out. I feel a little bit of rain. There we go. We'll let that level off. And then we'll put the plug back in. So I ended up dumping the oil again. Very gassy. My mistake. Filled it back up again with some fresh oil. And now I'm going to do something about this disgusting windshield. And I bought another one for $25 off a guy on Facebook. And he's got plenty more parts. He's got the exact bike. Same color, everything, but I believe I'm at my limit as far as what I can afford for this bike. But I'll swap the windshield out. And then I think the next thing is to take it for a good ride.
It's morning time. I'm getting ready to head to work. Got the bike here. Started running, ready to go. Phone mounted. We're gonna be meeting John today. We're gonna see what kind of bike he's got. I'm kind of nervous. I want to see what the heck kind of bike he picked versus what I picked. So this morning ought to be interesting. I'll turn the camera back on once I get to, well, we're meeting at our job, at our work. I'll be meeting up with him. He's going to be set up. I'm going to text him when I'm just down the road a little bit, and then I'll turn the camera back on when I'm pulling in, and we'll see what he's got.
So now that you can see that after our big reveal, I'm taking the bike apart again. I'm taking the valve cover off so I can adjust the valves, and pray I don't need any parts, that I can save all these seals. They're not really gaskets, they're seals, but I gotta get this one screw out which doesn't want to come out, so I can remove this so I can lift it up and slide it out. What a pain. Alright, so I adjusted all the valves. Well, not all of them, but just the ones that needed to be adjusted, which was like 3 on the exhaust out of 8 and like 5 on the intake. Most of the exhaust were just a little tight. Some of the intake were tight, some of the intake were loose. I don't think, though, that the tick I had will go away from that. I also pulled the cam chain adjuster plug out and gave a little push in there. So maybe. But now I've got to get this valve cover back on and get it to seal. So I'm going to put some black, what's that stuff I have on here, maybe around here, just to help it seal. Oh, the dogs are barking. Silicone RTV. This is what was recommended. And I'll put it around these little cap things. And hopefully it doesn't leak, because it wasn't leaking before. Doesn't sound too bad. Gotta run out of gas. As long as she's not leaking oil, right? All right, so I have the valves adjusted. So the next step would be to balance the carburetors. Now, if you watch my CB350 video, my 350F video, you know I didn't have carb balancers. Derek has a set, and now he knows what bike I got. He offered to lend them to me. I had to zero all the gauges, make sure that they were all zeroed, little screw inside of them. I have my fuel tank hooked up to the bike through a long line. I have this sit on prime, so I'm going to start the bike, warm it up. Each carburetor has a plug, a vacuum port. What I'm going to do is hook this gauge up to the first carburetor, see what it reads. Then I'm going to hook up this gauge to the same carburetor, see what it reads. Same with the third and fourth. See if all these gauges are reading the same. Then what I'm going to do, so if this one is off, say, one number off from this one, I'll know that that was what it has to be the same. Then what I'm going to do is you hook up 1 and 2. You sync 1 and 2 with this screw down here. Then you sync 3 and 4 to each other with this screw down here. Once you have 1 and 2 synchronized to each other, 3 and 4 synchronized to each other, then there's a screw down here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it by my finger. That does 1 and 2 to 3 and 4. And after that is done, then I should be able to adjust the fuel mixture on each one. Although they are all 2 turns out, hopefully they're all close. That'll be interesting to see how far off these carburetors actually are from being balanced. So I'm going to start the bike up, let it warm up, and then we'll start checking them. Okay, on the first carburetor, you want to adjust this so there's just a little bit of bounce on it. You don't want to take it all out, because if you do, then you're locking that carburetor where it is, that vacuum reading where it is. So just a little bit of bounce on it. And it's about 22 to 23. Oh, very good. This one's almost exactly the same. So now we know that these 2 gauges are good, or close to each other. Let's see what this one does. That one's right about the same also. That one's reading almost exactly the same, so Derek, you got a good set of gauges here. All right, I have all 4 hooked up. These two are definitely off from each other. So we'll do them first. Adjust the screw down here. So those two are right about right. We're going to have to adjust our idle speed a little. Okay, those two are about the same. Now let's these two are close to each other, but far off of 1 and 2. Okay, so these are at about 28. These are at about somewhere around 18. Now we gotta try to get the screwdriver down to this screw and try to adjust these all together. Raising our idle is needed. So about 20, a little over 20, a little over 20. Raise our idle up a little more. Over 20, over 20. All right. About 22, about 22, about 22, about 22. Okay. And somewhere around 1200. Lower it down a little bit. And yeah, I think we're all synced. Very difficult to tell if you've adjusted these fuel mixtures for good. I mean, it's hard to even tell if that tool's in there half the time. Once you know you've got it in there and you're adjusting it, it's pretty difficult, but I think I got it. Oh, it's out of fuel. I just took it for a ride. It's all back together again. And I will say it definitely feels like it idles smoother, and it might actually be smoother riding now, the engine, than it was. I don't necessarily hear the tick anymore. At least not as loud as it was. It's a mechanical valve. It's going to make some noise, but I think that's it. I think that's it for this one. Whew. Next time you see me, I'll probably be getting ready to leave on our trip. See you then.
So John's been yelling at me because the past week or two, he's been doing some editing and whatnot to the videos, and I have not given him an updated price on where I'm at. And in all the videos that I've made up until this point, I've shown my whiteboard a few times, but never, I haven't gotten to the final count. So, and there's a couple little updates too. So, here we are. Here's the whiteboard at this point. So, here I added the fuel carb crossovers and any other things like the bevel gear case gasket and everything. So, initially I had $105.10 left. But upon doing all that, I rounded up a little bit, but I was basically at $30 in different hardware for plastics and bolts and whatnot, just to get the bike together and good. And as you see down here, I stated something a little bit different: highway pegs. Now, one thing that me and John both agree on ever since we've been riding these bikes is that for long distances, where your feet are isn't really super comfortable. And I started doing some online research and looking to see if there were, some sort of forward controls or highway pegs, crash bars, anything like that. And I couldn't find anything. I found some pictures, and I think I found one on a website, but they wanted like $300 for crash bars, and I obviously don't have that in the budget, nor would I want to spend that much on it. So I decided that I'm going to surprise John, and I'm going to fabricate some highway pegs and highway bars / crash bars for us. So I went and I got some. I didn't buy it. I found it in the scrapyard at the dump. Got some wire conduit, bent it into some horseshoe shape, and as you can see over there, I've got 3 more. But I'm thinking that I can get them to fit something like that, and then I can figure out how to mount them to the bike, and then put highway pegs on here for our feet to be able to hang out and stretch out and be able to relax a little bit for the ride. So I'm in progress working on that, and I will keep you guys updated as I do more. But I am in the process of making these. I think John's gonna love it. Hopefully he puts it on. I'm pretty sure he will. But anyway, that's where this $40 comes from, or $44, is I found some cheap highway pegs on Amazon for 22 bucks for a pair. So I bought 2 pairs, a pair for him. So I decided to add that to my price because that wasn't something that, well, first of all, he's got no money left. He's tapped out on his budget, and I had a little bit left over, and I figured I'd do something nice for us so that we could have a little bit more leisure while we're riding. But if I did forget anything, you guys can comment down below and remind me what I forgot. Hopefully the $35 will cover it. If not, I guess we just won't tell John about it. But I'm still within budget. I still got a little bit left over. Maybe I'll buy a headlight or something like that. But also John gave me his spare windshield because he got another one from another guy, and I put some put some like a headlight repair kit to it, and it came out pretty nice. But with the old one being cut off there, I was just getting straight wind to the face. I haven't taken it out yet to test it out, but hopefully the original wind blocker here does a little bit better at highway speeds and stuff, so we'll test that out. But next, I gotta tune the carbs a little bit, you know, mess with the air fuel ratio and make sure those are in sync, and hook that up to it and sync them perfectly. Hopefully the bike will run a little smoother. Not that it doesn't run smooth now, but I do notice that at like lower RPM, higher gears, they don't have that oomph that I'm looking for. And it may just be the engine. I'm not used to this engine, but I don't know, it wouldn't hurt to balance the carbs. So I'll see about videoing that, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.